It's interesting that you say that too about being funny. I remember I went to this conference and they were talking about how the most important skill that you can have in business that no one thinks about is that you have to be a really good storyteller. And that usually the people that are very successful in business, they're great at telling stories, which isn't something that you. Mine are very crazy, so.
You have very many comments to talk.
Yeah. That's the craziest thing is when you read like big articles like this and you see all these words that you've never heard before. It can be a little confusing. Let's see if I can figure out where we left off. Hypothesis. The investigators theorized that about 20 million years ago, the Mediterranean was a broad sea salinity caused by evaporation, resulted in the extermination of scores of invertebrate species. Only a few organisms, especially tolerant of very salty conditions, remained. As evaporation continued, the remaining brine, or salt water, became so dense that the calcium sulfate of the hard layer was precipitated. Okay, so far, any confusing words here?
Landlock?
Landlock? Oh, I see. Landlock. Yeah, that's a difficult one. Okay, so basically landlocked means surrounded by land on all four sides. And so a lot of times people will use this to talk about countries. And so, let's see, I'm trying to remember the example.
Like a China, something?
So China isn't landlocked because I think part of it is open to the sea. But if you look at South America, so is Paraguay. They're in the middle of the country. They're not touching the ocean anywhere.
Okay.
Countries. Like Bolivia. Pebble is like rough and a pebble smooth because water goes over a pebble. So pebbles. So gravel is a tiny rock, not smooth. Okay.
Okay. Gravel provided abundant evidence that the Mediterranean was once a desert.
Okay, cool. Any questions about abundant or evidence or anything else here?
I'm confused about the meaning of abundant.
So abundant means a lot. So
Okay.
Provided a lot of evidence.
What is the difference between abundant and the where is it?
Spores?
Yeah.
So spores is not really a common word. It's mostly used in like very technical scientific writing. Abundant is just like a more common word. If that makes sense. Also, in this case, abundant. Okay, I know all this stuff is super weird and tricky. Okay, I'm trying to think if there are any other words I forgot to write down. I think I forgot to write down basin and cascade. Yeah, basin, cascade, and turbulent. So basin. Okay, so overlying is top. Turbulent is rough motion.